Hello there, Bitizens, and welcome once again to Chronicle Runescape Legends. My name is Francesca, and today we are continuing on with our beginner Chronicle deck series as we update all of our beginner decks on the channel. And we did beginner Ariane last week, and this week we are doing beginner Raptor. So this is our beginner Raptor deck. And this deck is a very cheap deck to craft. All of the cards are free except for Stamina Potion. Stamina Potion is a sapphire card. If you don't have Stamina Potion yet, you can sub it in with, what's it called? It's in here somewhere. Let me find it. Steel Titan, as that also gives you a base attack. But because we're doing what's called a base attack sustain deck, which is a deck where you build up your base attack and you heal to the final fight, Stamina Potion is better because it also provides healing, whereas doing 5 damage to your rival, it doesn't really matter because you should be doing most of your damage in the final fight. But that's an option there if you can't afford Stamina Potion, for example. Okay, so, whoops, don't want to do this. So what have we got in this deck? So, well, we have lots of sustain. We have Cabbage, which gives you, whoops, let's go to the top. We have Cabbage, we have Adamant Armor, we have Romley Weaklax. You can see healing here. I'll bring out the stats here. We actually have 52 healing and 22 armor in this deck. Restore Potion, that's 5. We have Solomon Dini, has a little bit of armor on him, though we'll talk about him in a minute. Stamina Potion, again, health and base attack. Jubbly Bird, also give you some heal, and Ice Nihil, gain armor equal to rival's total attack. So we have all of this kind of sustain, and then we have our base attack gain, which is your 2 KGP agents, you've got your 2 stamina potions, and you've got your 2 Nastroths. So that's 6 total base attack to be gained. And the way we're going to play stamina potion and Nastroth is through gold gain, so we have gold gain in here as well. We have Mimic, Hurt 2, but we have all this sustain. We have Ali Marasane at the top, we have Black Arm Bandit, gives you 2 gold, Jubbly Bird gives you gold, Skeleton Warrior gives you gold, Calfight Worker gives you gold, and a weapon. So you can always, use that if you can't quite kill the Ice Nihil, you could do Calfight Worker into the Ice Nihil, for example, to get, which also has gold on it, and Goblin Flash Mobs, lots and lots of gold. Yeah, but that's about it. The only other card that's a bit odd in this deck is there's one Solomon Medini, and this is basically just a just-in-case kind of card. So you're going to spend the entire game, building your base attack and stuff, and then there's one Solomon Medini in here, which you want to play basically last slot of Chapter 5 to give you a little bit more armor and a weapon to take into the final fight. So that's there as an option. I mean, you could replace it with Dragon Longsword if you prefer a 5-3 weapon to a 3-3 rather than the 4 armor. That works perfectly well. I just like him here because he's got a little bit of sustain and the armor. But again, it's kind of up to you, personal preference. Dragon Longsword may work better if your opponent has similarly high base attack, whereas Solomon Medini works fine if they're playing an aggressive deck, which a lot of newer players do. Anyhow, let's continue. Whoops, let's continue on with this deck and jump into a casual game and see how to play it. The thing with casual games is the matchmaking is a little bit, I don't know, strange, so I don't know what I'm going to get matched against. If I get a player who has, a lot of crafted cards, especially a lot of rarer cards, we might have a hard time. But hopefully we'll find someone with a similarly costed deck so that you guys can see just how effective this deck is at a beginner level. Hopefully, most of the more competitive players are playing ranked. We'll see. Anyhow, let's go. So we're against a Venescula. Now, Venescula has 2 kinds of builds, typically. You see a base attack Venescula, which is similar to this one, like healing and building your base attack, and you see an aggressive Venescula, which tries to kill you. The good thing is if she is playing an aggressive Venescula, we can heal, so that's not really a problem. And you can see here, we've got our KGP, we got some gold gain, so what we're actually going to do is we're going to mulligan all of this healing, because you don't need the healing that early, typically. We should find it later on when we do need it. There's enough of it in the deck. But what we're looking for, there we saw here, is our base attack gain. So what we can do is we can go KGP into the Skeleton Warrior, into Ali Morrisane, and that gives us enough gold to then play the Stamina Potion. Although we won't actually need the heal from Stamina Potion, so what I'm going to do here is play the Nastroth. KGP will discard one of our cards. Hopefully it will discard Romley, but we might get unlucky. We'll have to wait and see. Vire Watch, okay. So she's got healing in there, steal health from our opponent. That discarded the exact card we wanted it to discard, and she's got base attack. So we're kind of trying to work out what sort of deck she's playing here. And if it's not, aggressive, then a lot of our healing cards may be wasted, but that's okay. Oh no, there's some aggressive cards. Okay, so we are taking damage this game. So our healing should come into play here. It looks like it's just a simple aggressive Venescula, which you do see quite common on the ladder. So this is basically, deal as much damage to your opponent as quickly as you can. We should have the healing to counter it. I mean, we have, like I said, Stamina Potion in our hand, along with Restore Potion, Restore Potion is a really lovely card because you get the card draw as well, which counteracts KGP. So a lot of people find KGP frustrating because he discards cards. But I think if you're running a KGP, just run a little bit of card draw, and you should have a pretty good time. We don't quite have the gold to play it, though. And this is an unfortunate thing that can happen sometimes, is you draw a lot of your gold spend and none of your... a lot of your gold cost and none of your gold gain. So what we'll just do is we'll just heal up. We'll spend 1 gold on adamant armor, because if we do gain gold gain, it's not going to be 1 gold. It's going to be at least 2. So then we can play Restore Potion anyway. So we're just going to, prepare ourselves for damage. And honestly, this seemed like a fairly smart plan, all things considered. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. She does have 8 gold, though. Oh, well, now she has Death Lotus Assassin. Another nice combo that we could see here is if we can draw the Calphite. Oh my god, both Death Lotus Assassins. That's horrible. We took 20 damage this chapter, but you'll notice we still have half health because we put in that healing. So something like a Calphite Warrior into a Ice Nihil, because we're on 4 base. So if we get the Calphite Warrior off, we then go up to... We then have a 1/1 weapon, which will let us kill the Ice Nihil, which will give us, like, loads of armor, for example. Oh, we are so unlucky today, you guys. I think we're going to go for the Restore Potion just because we need the cards. Like, we need to get some more gold gain. And this still heals us 5 health, whereas Romilly heals us a little bit more. But this also gives us card draw, which should put us up to 6 cards, which means at the next chapter we'll have 9 cards. Usually the draw is a little bit better than this. Like, the mixture of, gold spend and healing is normally okay. The good news is she doesn't have much gold, so she's not going to be, Vara watching us anytime soon. And she discarded 1. So we'll see. I think her damage should start to tone back a little bit at this point. And hopefully we'll find some of that gold gain. Or those Jubbly Birds, for example. Like, there is a lot of options in this deck to keep us alive. KGP and Solomon Medini. This draws, you guys. We are so unlucky today. So these next 3 cards could really help us. And I don't think it's over by any means. I don't think it's over by any means. I think it's definitely still all to play for. We could just do with a little bit of gold gain. I mean, we have, those 2 Goblin Flash Mobs in here. All right, we've got 2 gold gain. Okay, so what we can do... The problem is we take a hit from the Ice Nihil. So that doesn't really work. Oh, no, we can KGP, actually. Never mind. KGP. In fact, heal first. Heal KGP. Jubbly Bird. That seems good, and that puts us on 5 base, and then that gives us enough gold that we can at least play Romilly or Adiyama next chapter. Or start building up gold to play Stamina Potion, depending on how we draw. Plus, we're healing here for 7 health, and then we should also gain at least 8 armor. So we're healing for 15 this chapter. So this should counteract some of her aggression, and lead us nicely into the final fight. I mean, this is the problem with any deck, is sometimes, you don't draw the cards that you need. Because like I say, we do have loads of gold gain in this deck. Like, loads of gold gain. It just doesn't seem to be showing up, unfortunately. Which is causing us a little bit of trouble. And we discarded Romilly, which... It would have been nice not to discard, but ultimately it's not the end of the world. She doesn't have a cannonball, I don't believe. So maybe there's a combo where you can play... what's he called? Rowdy Cannoneer, which gives you a cannonball and does 4 damage, into Barker Toad, which does 7 damage, and that's very common in aggressive decks. I think we're still okay here. We effectively have 30 total health. And she has 26. We have 2 higher base attack than her. And we have Solomon. So we have options here, depending on... Oh, look at all that gold! So that is 8 gold. So that puts us on 10, which means we can actually play Solomon. Yep, we're going to do this. So we're going to go Goblin Flash Mob, Stamina Potion, Solomon Medini. And that's our final chapter. So that will give us another base attack, heal us for 7, and give us 4 armor and a 3/3 weapon going into the final fight. And I can't see her catching up with this, really. And I think this is a pretty happy play. So the gold showed up when we needed it to. And she's playing Troll Chucker. So we should take 1 damage from this Goblin Flash Mob. And if you play it on 2 base health, you'll take 4 damage for 4 gold, which isn't completely terrible. It's kind of like a... is it Mimic, the card? I think is in this deck that does damage and gives you gold. Okay, so there's the Rowdy Cannoneer. I wonder if she's going to have the Barker Toad here. What do we think, you guys? What do we think? So remember, we're still getting 7 armor and... Sorry, 7 health and 4 armor. So we'll be on 31 effective health if she does no more damage. There's the Barker Toad. So that was the combo I was kind of telling you guys about. And you can actually see that even though we've taken all of this damage through this game, it's really just not been enough for her. And as a result of that, she's going to lose. In fact, she just gave me 1 base attack. So there's a diamond card that gives both of you base attack. So she's made her life even more difficult. And in this situation, it wouldn't have actually mattered if we'd played Solomon or the Dragon Longsword. So again, it's personal preference. But we wouldn't have been able to afford the Dragon Longsword, which is why I do have a little bit of preference for the Solomon Medini card, just because the gold in this deck is so tight. Hey, so look at that. We won 2 games today. Congratulations to us. But that basically is how you play this Raptor deck. It's just a case of keeping yourself alive and building base attack throughout the game. And that kind of happens to a certain extent, you know, in the later game as well, as you build a more competitive deck. We'll jump into one last game just to see how it goes again. Show you guys the deck once more. I mean, you more or less saw every aspect of the deck. Is this the same player? I think this is the same player, but they're playing Linza. I'm fairly certain that was the player we just played against. This may be a weapon deck. If this is a weapon deck, we may have a really hard time. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, we got base attack. We got gold gain. We don't really need the healing gold gain at this point. Wait, let me work this out. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 gold. Now we need more consistent gold. We don't need cabbage right now. We don't actually really need stamina potion right now because it's heals. I think we're going to do that. We're going to get rid of the healing and keep the gold. Because you saw last game the problem was just lack of gold. Oh, there we go. So we can then go KGP, Black Arm Bandit. Actually, we'll go KGP, Skeleton Warrior, Black Arm Bandit, Nastroth. And then we discard one of these 3. Ultimately, I would like to discard probably the Addy Armor. Remove 4 costs from your next equipment. Okay, so this is a big weapon deck. We don't actually have cards in this deck to counter weapons. You do get a lot of cards in the game to counter weapons, and we'll go over them after this, depending on how this goes. But that's not really something that we are running, simply because the deck is very kind of tight in terms of cards as it is, and you don't run into weapons at this level of play often enough to make it worthwhile, especially at a beginner level. So here, because we're against a weapon deck, we're probably just going to want to build armor. Basically, if she takes a big weapon into the final fight, we're probably dead. This is probably the deck strategy that counters our strategy. So our strategy goes really well against aggressive decks, and it goes really well against kind of itself. The mirror match isn't too bad, but going against big weapon decks can be fairly nasty, all things told. So yeah, we're gonna just keep building our base attack and armor. Ooh, actually, if we draw Ice Nihil, right, if we can draw Ice Nihil, that is gonna be huge for us, because Ice Nihil will give us armor based on her total attack, which includes her weapon. So that's actually a nice counter strategy that we have. Well, okay. I don't rate Armadillion Golem. I think if you're building a weapon, you want to kill your opponent, you don't want to heal. But there we go, that's more like it. We should have played our cabbage. She's got no weapon now, at least. But she's got 6 gold, so she can start another one. And this is the problem with Linza, is if they're lucky and they get the cards they need, you know, you're going to have a pretty bad time. And you can see she's using that temporary attack into the goblin there. So that was a smart move, because now she has loads of gold to then, you know, start up another weapon. The plus side, we do have, like I say, a lot of healing, and we have Ice Nihil, which we can always count on if we draw it. So we're going to look for healing and draw here. Hopefully we get like an Ali Morrisane, for example, which will let us play the Restore Potion. We did not, so we're just going to chuck down this cabbage, chuck down the Jubbly Bird. Order here isn't really that relevant. It won't make a huge difference to us. We can't afford to play these cards. So let's go. And this is, again, like the last few times I played this deck, I do tend to get the gold before I get the spend. But today we're just not getting it. Getting 2 weapon attacks, strike rival, exhaust. So she's just trying to kill me, I guess. The problem with her doing this is she should know, having played against me previously, that I have so much healing in this deck that if she wastes all of her weapons now, she's going to have a really hard time. And it honestly looks like that's what she's more or less done. Is she's gone for the damage, but she hasn't built up a weapon to do so much damage that I can't just heal through it. And I mean, we've got 1 gold here. We get another gold. We can play, you know, Romilly Weaklax, for example. We've got lots of options. There we go, that's more like it. So we will heal. Romley, Restore Potion. This gives us options for the next chapter. I don't think we really need too much more base attack. I mean, if she goes into the final fight with a huge weapon, that's going to be tough for us. We'll see. We'll see. I think at this point, drawing cards is more important than building base. We've got 5 already. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's going all right, though. Like, I don't feel like this is the end of the world, all things considered. I think this is a nasty matchup, but there are kind of ways around it. Like, Ice Nihil is one of those, you know, the one that gives you armor based on their total attack. So if she equips a huge weapon and I play Ice Nihil, then I gain... What do I gain? Like, basically a huge amount of armor. So she's chosen to fight me here. So we can still afford to play... We can still afford to play our... we got a cabbage there, nice. And a Nihil, sweet. So we can still afford to play Romley. The only thing is I have 8 health, but she's not going to do 8 damage to me this chapter, so that's fine. Unfortunately, we can't afford our Solomon, but I don't think that's terrible. Okay, so definitely heal at this point. Let me see. Now, I can't get 4 gold in 1 slot. It would be nice to have been able to get 4 gold in 1 slot.
My apologies.
But it's not going to happen. Oh, look at you being all rude. I think it'll be fine. I'm wondering if we play these two the other way round. So the thing is, if she equips a weapon last slot, then the Ice Nihil won't be that effective. But if she equips a weapon earlier, this way I take a 1/1 weapon into the final fight. It depends on how... You know what? If I lose by 1 health, then I called it wrong. I like how she's apologizing. And I'm just about to heal a load. And she's played nothing. So I'm on 19 health. Oh, please be the right call. Oh, it's fine. So we get 6 armor here. Ah! I win! So there you go. I win. I have more than double her base attack, and she has only 2 base. So that kind of worked out. It is playable, but it's a matchup you have to think a little bit more about. You're wanting those Ice Nihils so that you can get that armor online. I like how she apologized. Hello. But yeah, that's basically beginner Raptor. There is counters to the weapon matchup, but it's the nastiest. What she should have been doing is getting one really, really big weapon and then smashed me with it for a large amount of damage, or tried to get a big weapon into the final fight, because she knew what my strategy was. She'd played against the deck before. Like, she knew I was just building stuff. I mean, maybe she was a bit worried about weapon removal, but personally, like I said, I'm not running it. I mean, you do have cards that affect weapons. I believe there's some beginner cards that affect weapons. Yeah, Black Chin Chomper, remove 1 weapon durability from rival. You also have one, I think, that affects rival's attack. I can't think what it's called right now, but there's definitely one. And then the standard ones that people typically run at higher levels is Calphite Emissary, remove 5 armor and 3 weapon durability from rival. So the 5 armor is a bonus, you know, if you hit a Raptor or something. But really, that's played for the weapon durability. And similarly, Bar Fight, if we can find it, Bar Fight. Remove 2 weapon durability from both Legends and Battle Rival. That's another option. But yeah, that's more or less it. I mean, with the higher ranked Raptor, typically people run his diamond cards, which I'll show you guys quickly. Barricade, remove 5 attack from your next creature for 4 gold, and gives you 10 armor, I might add. And also Corporeal Beast, whatever it's called. It's in here somewhere. Gain armor equal to your health. So you can kind of see how in a base attack, health stacking decks, these would be quite good. Because if you can kill this at high health, you gain a hell of a lot of armor. And then if you want to try doing different things with Raptor, you know, he has cards which spend armor to do stuff, like spend 6 armor and kill your next creature, which means you don't have to fight it. Spend armor to pay for your next support, so then if you're low on gold, spend 4 armor, gain a 3/6 weapon, spend 3 armor. So these are kind of things that you can play about with as you start to build up your Raptor collection. But as a beginner Raptor deck, I think this one is pretty goddamn solid. Anyhow, if you have any questions, do let me know in the comments below. Next week we'll do another beginner deck. If you have a preference for Linza, Morvran, or Vanescula, or Ozan, there's 4 actually more beginner decks to come. Let me know again in the comments below. If you've liked this video, hit that thumbs up button. Beyond that, you know, you can find us on social media, The Kilobits, on Facebook, facebook.com/TheKilobits if you want to like us, because, you know, I like you guys. Or on Twitter, @TheKilobits. if you want to follow us so that we can start a cult. And beyond that, if you want to give us a few Kappa coins to support the channel, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/thekillerbits. I've been Francesca, this has been Chronicle being a Dex, and I'll catch you guys next week with another deck. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic day, my lovelies. Bye!